Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Your Miami Heat, they fall to the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight, 128-120 in a really, really fun game. I mean, it was just scoring galore all over the place. The first half was bananas. You had the Heat. They shot 69%. The Heat, they went out there and they shot in the first half 59%. The Thunder shot 69%. Just lighting it up all over the place. But Miami in the second half just had two lapses at the start of each quarter, and it really cost them the game in this one. You know, Miami goes into the break and they're up 5. They're looking good, but I think there's always I think any Heat fan will tell you, there's always a little bit of uneasiness when it's a high-scoring affair, slight lead for Miami going into half, because you're always feeling like there's going to be some offensive rut at some point that they are going to hit. And it hit mirror images of each other, exactly the same to start each, the third quarter and the fourth quarter, 13-0 runs for the Oklahoma City Thunder to really have the game in control the whole rest of the way. Miami would grab the lead a couple of times more there at the end of the third as they would work their way all the way back. But then they damn near did the same thing again. They start off the fourth quarter with a OKC 13-0 run, and Spo was just beside himself with this, because they go into the fourth quarter and Chet Holmgren, nobody's going after him, and I understand why. The dude is like a cartoon character in there with his reach, his stretch that you have to go at. He's obviously a very good shot blocker. And it was just junking things up. The Thunder have a very good team, man. Like, you could just see they share the ball well. There's ton of talent all over the place. SGA is one of the best players in the league. They very clearly have a young and up-and-coming star in Chet Holmgren. Jalen Williams was a monster tonight. Josh Giddey can light it up. They have just firepower. Lou Dort had two-way player who's absolutely dangerous. They just seem to have everything in their bag. I mean, everybody's going to kind of write them off because of experience, but they feel very much like they're taking like almost that Grizzlies or Kings leap, and they might even be better because of the guys that they got, especially number 2. I mean, he's something, man. He's really something with the ability he's able to contort his body, his ability to steal the basketball. He's just tough to guard. He's tough to guard clean. And it's a really, really talented team. A really, really talented team. The one thing I was happy with, because Miami did end up getting back into this game in the fourth quarter, and they'd eventually cut the lead to 6. And a lot of that was on the back of Bam Adebayo and Jaime Jaquez Jr. In fact, they're the only 2 players for the Heat who scored in the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter for Miami, where Bam would give them 13 and Jaime gave him 11. But Bam, I was happy with Bam because Bam is a captain now, right? And he's going to have a big max contract waiting for him at the end of this. I don't know if he'll make All-NBA. It's a very tough position for him to do that. I thought that today I was not happy with how that fourth quarter started, because he did feel like he was letting Chet Holmgren out physical. And it wasn't even a muscle thing. It was like a size thing. It's like, don't get deterred by essentially a rookie. I know he's tall, but you got to figure things out here, bro. You're a pro. You're an all-star. And they go into this timeout where, SGA, where Bam, he's just not going at Chet Holmgren, and then Holmgren just blows by him to put them up 13. And then there was this spot where Bam gets a block on Dort. Unfortunately, ends up OKC gets the ball back and he gets the 3. And Spo's just livid, right? They're down 112-96 at this point, and you're just like, come on, are you going to go out? Because it was a fun game up to that point. It was very, very competitive, but that OKC's got the firepower. And I really thought from that point, Bam flipped a switch and tried to put the team on his back. Look, Jimmy's not here. And I don't know, Jimmy says he's coming back soon, but I think typically on a night like this, in maybe a year ago, I think that Tyler would probably take the reins more and try and see if he can shoot his way. And I think that Bam is now the mindset, no, mother bleepers, this is my team. I'm going to try and will this thing and do everything I can to bring it. And it was really the Bam and Jaime show. That was the other fun storyline on this, is that you had a Rookie of the Year battle. Chet's, going to probably win the award because of how good OKC is and the fact that he was a top pick and had all this buzz. We didn't get to see him last year. But Jaime held his own today, man. Jaime held his own with helping this Miami Heat team in that fourth quarter. First of all, he was in really great sync with Jović tonight, who I want to get to here in just a second. But there was a great spot where Bam got a tip-in on a Haywood Highsmith miss, and it brought the game to within 8, got it to single digits. Then Jaime got the steal and ends up going to the line, gets it to 6. So just a great heads-up play by Jaime. Gets the Miami Heat in a really good spot. If they get another stop, they're right back in this thing. Chet goes down. He ends up missing a dagger 3. Jović gets the rebound. He gives it to Tyler, and Tyler, who was having a very, very quiet night, not efficient, but in the fourth quarter had done nothing to this point. He gets a look, Giddy's on him, but he dishes it off to Haywood Highsmith, who was, again, I'm going to give some time to him, but he was having his own hot night, so I don't know if Tyler was saying, hey, Haywood, you? But Haywood gives it back to Tyler, who kind of rides his momentum and just throws up this, like flopping fish fall away 3 that just had no prayer of going in at all. And OKC ends up getting the loose ball. Chet is wide open for the dunk. They go up 8. That was all she wrote. He did end up blocking Tyler Herro at the end of the game just for good measure, because the Heat kind of got a breakaway basket, and Chet Holmgren just said, nah, stat something. Pew. It was a tough one tonight from Boy Wonder. I don't know what the hell that shot was. I know he was arguing that there was a foul call, that he was fouled there at the end. I go back and watch the replay. I watched the game. I'm coming right here. I'm not doing a film breakdown. You guys know me. I'm just kind of riffing off the game. Don't listen to post-game comments if I'm not at the game, boots on the ground. It's just game thoughts right after the puppy ends. But yeah, man, Tyler 2 of 11 in the second half. He was just a non-factor for Miami, and they needed him to be, because like the Miami Heat got a great game today from Haywood Highsmith. Haywood Highsmith today had a career high in points. He finished with 19, and he gave you that through 3 quarters today. He had 5 from downtown. So, Duncan Robinson stunk up the joint today. He's been in a little bit of a slumski after the just nuclear start that he's had. But you did get some, you got your 3-point production today from Haywood Highsmith. You got a big jolt there. And he was awesome today, which, pretty great to see Haywood Highsmith come back and bounce back like that in the midst of just coming off a concussion protocol. He was feeling it tonight, dude. He had it going on. The Heat did not get a lot of bench production, but the other big thing that they got, and kind of sucks that they end up losing this game, was the play of Nikola Jović. Dude, Jović, it's happening, man. I told you this after the last game. I think that he's won over Erik Spoelstra. I do. I don't think this is going to be a thing where, unless he just completely mentally implodes, I really think the Miami Heat are going to keep this kid in a rotation role. Obviously when, Caleb Martin comes back, there's going to be some decisions to make, and I don't know if he would necessarily close in a game with Jimmy out there, but I don't see any reason why this kid shouldn't be your starting forward next to Bam. I really, really don't. There may be some league adjustments and people pick some things up, but I just think it's just like he takes a lot of that pressure off of everybody. Just a lot of the little things, the facilitating. He's not a selfish player. He's basically looking to get the rebound, find a great move, but just the vision that he has, where it comes from, like, he'll drive down, put down a head of steam, and have a little dump off to Kevin Love, who ends up getting fouled. He goes and He just looks like he's always trying to get out on the break and get people. It was it was just it was so much fun to watch him today. There was one where him and Bam had this 2-man game going, and Jović just hits this runner that he gets from Bam. I was beside myself. Then he had like this sweet roll to the basket. Great find by Tyler Herro, to be fair. And he scored between Chet and SGA, and you're just like, what is going on here? Then the next run, he gets like a spin move. He draws the foul. Like, this kid, telling you, looks like he's got his swagger back. And that was the thing that Jimmy said going into this, is that Nico is got his chest out. He's got a little bit of swagger to him. And, you know, speaking to him in the times I've gotten to speak to, you could tell, very young kid. Like, he's a young 20. You know, and I saw him at the last game. His mom's walking him back to the locker room. Like, this is a young kid who is in the other side of the world from home for him. So it's a lot of adjustments that he's got to get going on. But I definitely think that you saw, with all the stuff that he was dealing with, that there was a little bit of the joy of the game taken out. I think that's back, and I think that he's earned the trust of Erik Spoelstra. And you noticed it at the end of this game. He let him close. He let Jović close out the game. Jović came in there, I want to say like midway through the fourth quarter. Maybe it was like 4 minutes left of the fourth. He comes back in there. You're like, oh, Jović is back, dude. Now, he didn't take any shots. He didn't score in the fourth. But just the fact that Erik Spoelstra has him out there in those clutch minutes where he trusts him not to make a defensive mistake and be a liability, it speaks to the growth that he's had. And if you guys didn't see it, I talked to Ron Rossi, and you guys can watch that here on the channel. But I spoke to the coach earlier, and he talked about, you know, the peaks and valleys that a young player goes through. But he's like, you know, Ron's boots on the ground. He's in the system. He's a Heat guy, and he's like, you know, I think we got another steal, man. And yes, there's growth that has to happen defensively, but man, I had a lot of fun watching him and Jaime play tonight. They looked just absolutely tremendous. I mean, it was funny, like, seeing them get out on the break and Jaime kicking to Jović for a three. It's like, that's like the new version of when we would watch Bam and Tyler kind of cook together a couple of years ago. We're like, oh, this is awesome. Looking to the future. That's what that is. Like, that's the cool part about it. And it's fun because, you know, for Jaime, who had a great night. Honestly, the only thing that was an issue for Jaime tonight, which typically isn't, is like he left a couple of foul shots on the floor tonight, but he was right in the midst of things. Just isn't afraid of those moments. You know, tonight, you want to look at the nights tonight. Jaime Jaquez, 21 points on 9 shots tonight, got to the free throw line 9 times, 3 of 5 from downtown. Tyler Herro had 17 points tonight on 21 shots, and only took 5 threes, man. Like, and that's, I talked about this last time with Tyler, is I want that shot. Like, I want Tyler Herro shooting the 3. Like, if you're gonna go down and you're gonna take 20 shots, all right, fine. I'm fine with Tyler Herro taking a ton of shots, but half of them gotta be from downtown. Like, you gotta get into that. And then it's like these nights where the runner's not going. All right, are you gonna get that contact? Are you gonna be a guy who gets to the free throw line? And let's see. I'm trying to see. Tyler was an interesting thing, because that was something that was said coming into this year, was a big goal of his, of getting to the free throw line more. And his average right now, mind you, yes, he has missed time, but 18 games. You know, it's a sample size, not nothing. And Tyler is getting to the free throw line 2.9, which is, he was 2.7 last year, so it's not a career high. It's not like that has had the wild uptick. He's shooting about the same amount of threes, but he is taking more shots this. He is taking more shots this year than ever. I mean, he's averaging 19 shots a game. averaging a career high in 23 points a game, almost 23 points a game, but is, like I said, he's taking, he's being a little bit more efficient this year with the twos that he's taking. But there's not a real swing in the threes, and there's not a real swing in the free throws. It's just, and so just think that if he is going to ever take that leap that he wants to get to of being 26 and being up there with all those guys, that's where it's going to come. I think that's where the difference is going to be for him. But, he had a great game the last game against the Rockets. Tonight, bit of a stinker. And so it's been a little bit up and down the last few performances from him. And look, here's the truth of it with Tyler. He gets a lot of the critique, probably more than anybody. Probably the lion's share of it. He's the most polarizing player, I guess, on the team, but he's also, I think, one of the more popular players on the team. He's handled everything with professionalism. Thinks the kid I think the kid works his ass off. All that stuff. But it's impossible for that never to be also the storyline of Tyler Herro when he has a struggle and Mark Stein says the Heat have bona fide interest in Spider Mitchell, which whatever the hell that. It's like Cleveland's not picking up the phone, but the Heat have bona fide interest in him. All right. Which I honestly think what that means to me when Stein says that about Spider is like they have bona fide interest if they could fleece Cleveland for him. Because I don't think the Heat are going to they're not going to do the move where they give up everything. They're going to wait for a team where I don't think Riley is really going to go all in on a star. Like, it's funny. I'm seeing like, oh, would you give up Jaquez for Spider? Would you give up Jović for Spider? And I don't think Riley's going to do that. I think like Riley will pull that move if it's like the expirings and maybe a first or something like that. I don't think he's going to do it with his top dogs or, hey, Caleb Martin, and Kyle Lowry, expirings, and you'll take it and like it. I don't think he's going to give away unless you're telling it it's like the generational guys of the league. I don't think they're touching those guys. And I also don't think that Tyler goes along with it. I think that they're going to stick with Tyler for right now because you don't know how you'll have to confound that with who has to go out in any kind of trade. But yeah, it's tough on a night like tonight because this was an awesome game. A lot of fun from a lot of young talent. A lot of guys really shined tonight. It was a fun, thrilling offensive game, especially the first half. But it was a close game. It was a close game. The Heat, each time that they blew it, they did fight to get back and get the lead back. The thing that just stands out in a game like this is like, all right, there's no Jimmy. No Jimmy in a game like this. You have no Kyle Lowry. All right? Tyler Herro, that's what you want. It's your team. And it's like, yeah, that's if you're going to be all the things that he wants, all-star, one of the best guards in the league, all those things, and you got a big-time prime matchup against, yes, one of the best defensive teams in the league. But there was a line of demarcation today where in the fourth quarter, the Heat get down 16. Bam, kind of stinking up the joint, right? And you could just see he made a conscious effort. Nope, not going down like this. And put his imprint on the game to try and will that back. Tyler, scoreless in the fourth quarter. I'm not going to cry over this one. I thought it was a very competitive game. OKC's good, dude. They're a really good team. This is a fun matchup. Heat do have to bounce back. You got Orlando coming on in. And you got them last time. They're coming into your building. But this homestand closes out with Orlando and Charlotte. And I think the Heat need to pick up both of those games.